Hey, Finance family, welcome to Flip It with Samara, a podcast, or I should say, a show designed to flip the narrative on how we view and use tax planning, not only in our business, but also in our personal lives, right? And so, here on Flip It, we're all about education and we're all about elevating you no matter where you are on your financial journey. One thing I want you to remember, and I hope that you retain this and you apply this, is that tax planning is for everyone, right? The wealthy don't start tax planning once they become wealthy, but they tax plan in order to obtain wealth. And so I want you to keep that in mind as week over week we come before you and we have on special guests that are going to show us, right, how to use certain tools, vehicles, avenues, if you will, in order to not only shelter our money or grow our money tax free, but also, right, to generate wealth and create wealth. Okay. So I know when you saw the topic this week, you were like, what? Tax free retirement income? That can't be true, right? No, some of you are probably skeptical. Some probably were saying, oh, this is impossible, but I assure you it is absolutely true and it is absolutely possible. Okay. But in order to make sure that we walked you through how to do this, right, strategically in the right way, I wanted to bring on an expert, okay, because you all know that your girl is a tax strategist, but there are certain areas that I am just not that experienced in, right? And so I wanted to bring on an expert that's going to walk us through how we can successfully retire with tax-free income. And her name is Sharon Mooney. Now, me and Sharon belong to a Facebook group together. And so we were able to connect through that avenue. And then we had a meeting where, we both just were kind of feeling each other's vibe. It was definitely a instant bond. And we just found ourselves having a good old conversation as if we were girlfriends. And so we do have a lot in common, both being people that are like exiting out of corporate America or working for someone. I really
Yes.
love that she is passionate about helping other moms, right? Not only through their entrepreneurship journey, but also in planning for the future for their children. So that was definitely one thing that I was like, this is awesome. This lady is amazing. I absolutely have to have her on the show so that she can share things with us on how we can do the same, right? Things that we can implement and put into our lives as well, right? So I don't want to botch her intro, but I'm just letting you know she's pretty amazing, right? So without further ado, I'm going to bring Sharon on and I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. So, Sharon, welcome.
Hello, Fi family. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. So tell the people who you are and a little bit about what you do.
Perfect. Can do. So, my name is Sharon Mooney, and thank you, Samara, for the beautiful segue here. I am a mom first. I love my two rambunctious little boys. And really, whenever you become a parent, you look around and you want to leave the world better than the world that you brought your littles in. And for me, that begins and ends with education. And I really just have a passion for educating people out there on their finances and really equipping the next generation with the tools and the resources that they need to create a beautiful future. Again, so that we can leave it a better place than we found it. So that's kind of my mission in life. I really am just here to help people. I think Samara and I connect so well on wanting to help just as many people as we can build a life of choices and leave this world even more beautiful. So that is just a little bit about me. and I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, we definitely did bond over that. And, when if you have, like, I know that you have watched the show and been following us because you were liking everything. I was like, oh, Sharon is engaged. I love it.
Yeah,
Um, but
I'm
that,
here for it.
right, right. I'm here for all of it too. But yeah, that's what we're about too, right? Just educating people because I feel like if we know more and we knew better, we would do better, right? That old saying. And so that's what we pride ourselves on doing too, Sharon. So that is definitely why we were able to instantly connect because we share that same passion in that arena. So great. She's a mompreneur, y'all. Okay. So, all my mompreneurs in the chat, please let us know
Yay.
that you're there. Say hello. I just want to take a minute to thank the people who have joined. So, we got Wayne, we got Samara, we got Terrence, Angelica. Hello, beautiful Five Finance people. Thank you so much for joining. Sharon and I are going to jump right into it. But as the show is going on, if you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat and we will be sure to address as many as we can during the live show, right? So, Sharon, retiring tax free. Oh my God, this is possible.
Yeah,
All right,
I
so
know it definitely is 100%.
So when I first discovered this notion a few years ago, and I've actually had someone on this show before who dabbles in the realm of retirement planning using some of the tools that you're probably going to talk to us about tonight. But I feel like I want us to get a deeper dive, right, onto like the benefits of these tools, where we can start, how we can utilize them specifically to retire tax free. Because I feel like we didn't touch on that when I had the last guest on. But before we jump into that, I know that there are other things that we need to prep for, right, before we even get to that point, right, of trying to utilize these avenues to create that tax free retirement plan. Another thing that I feel like we don't do as individuals is value the tool of life insurance and the tool for planning for us maybe getting old, right? So,
Yeah,
not only should we be planning for what happens when we die, but we should also plan for us getting older. So, when I think about things like living benefits, right? Can you walk us through what that is and the purpose for us having that or needing that?
absolutely. So, really, the long and short of it is, as as we go through this life, there's this thing called inflation that I think we've all heard of, and notice that it's going on right now as we speak. And so we really have to look at things differently and work smarter, not harder. Okay, I think your audience, Samara, has heard you say that a time or two. We really have to make our dollar stretch these days. And so having something in place that protects you if you were to die, okay, that's very important because you are your greatest asset. Your life is your ability to generate income to take care of your family is extremely important. If that goes away, that leaves your family in not such a great place. However, what if you don't die? That is something that we're discovering now in this bubble of medical bankruptcy that we're finding ourselves in. We every time it seems like I get on Facebook or social media, I'm seeing a post for a GoFundMe for somebody that either lost their uh, job due to not being able to work, a disability. Maybe they had a fire at their house and they were not able to, they had to start over. You have to really think about protections in place. And one of the things that we do, that I educate on, is living benefits. And so this idea of living benefits is a new kind of insurance, that you don't have to die in order to access critical funds that can save your family in a medical or personal emergency.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, let's say you go to the doctor, they tell you you have 24 months or less to live. That's categorized as a terminal illness. And so, with that, if you have a living benefits insurance policy in place, you can access at that time up to 90% of your death benefit before you die.
Wow.
So with that, you can actually, pay for your mortgage, pay off your house, pay off your cars, pay off your debts, maybe check off your bucket list. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hop on
Right.
a cruise ship, and if I have less than 24 months to live, I promise you, I'm going to live it up.
Right.
You can also use this for experimental treatment. It's literally saved people's lives. Not going to
Mm-hmm.
save everybody's life, but I definitely love that the option is there. Um, and so that, a terminal illness, let's say you have a critical illness. This is heart attack, stroke, traumatic brain injury, these cancers that aren't terminal that are, becoming more and more prevalent. You're going to be okay, but you're going to have to take a significant amount of time to get better,
Mm-hmm.
to convalesce. While you're getting better, you're not going to be working, right? Because you need to focus on getting better. So where is your income going to come from? We have GoFundMe, we have insurances, we have, everything like that to stand in the gap. However, there are ways that you yourself can protect, using these living benefits, to protect yourself and your family. So it's not just for you, but there's living benefits for kids too.
Mm.
My oldest, his friend, one of his friends, whenever he was in kindergarten, actually ended up getting a very rare type of bone disease. And so he's in remission now. He's doing
Thank
fantastic,
God.
but it was many, many, many months of doctor visits and treatments. And so it was a full-time job taking care of this little dude. And so, we have these protection plans to put, a protective barrier around your family, your whole family, not just you. So that's kind of a little bit about living benefits.
Hmm. And when I think about living benefits, Sharon, it really sounds like long-term care. I'm sure you're familiar with that, right? So,
There is a long-term care rider on them.
right. Okay. Because that I was going to introduce that term rider to the audience.
Yes,
Because
yes,
because I do know that I have a life insurance policy that has that, right? Like it has that long term care rider on there so that if something were to happen, like you said, right, people are living longer, all of these advancements in medicine, we're absolutely living longer than what our parents or our grandparents lived, right?
right.
And so we have to plan for that so that we're not eating into all of our retirement money. That Sharon's going to show us how we can grow tax free. So we're not
Yeah,
eating into that, right? So we have
correct.
that money also to utilize and live our best lives. Because I'm with you, Sharon. Somebody said I had 24 months to live. Okay, I'm living it up. I'm going to see everything I
That's
wanted to
right.
see. I'm going to go around the world.
Absolutely. Yes, we'll be there together because
Right.
yeah, I'm not going to stay at home and just,
Mm-mm.
wait.
Absolutely
It's just
not.
not going to
No.
happen.
All right, we got one question.
Perfect.
So let's see. Samara is asking, what if you have a disability where you can't work? Does the
Yeah.
living benefits work for that too?
It does. It does.
Okay.
So there's what we call triggers. So
Okay.
if you have a loss of limb, if you can't perform, two of the six functions of daily living, which are, bathing yourself, eating, going to the restroom, dressing yourself. There's six of them. If you can't perform two of them, that triggers the living benefit. Okay. And so, yes, there are riders on or triggers on there for disabilities specifically. And so it depends on the severity. And the good news is those are determined by your doctor, not by the insurance company, which is super important. You
Right.
want to always partner with a company that's going to utilize who's going to be your advocate. And that's a lot of times in medical emergencies, your doctor. So that is always good to know, is that my clients don't have to have me or the company advocate for them. They have their personal doctor who knows them and their situation and advocates for them.
That's good. I hope that y'all got that. So she says you want to always work with a company who is going to partner with your advocate, right? So,
Yeah,
what you may or may not know, and this is my small amount of information that I know about insurance policies, they can deny you, right? They can deny
exactly.
you. And so you absolutely want to make sure that you have someone advocating on your behalf so that you can get approved for the insurance that you absolutely need, right? And so that's
Absolutely.
why Sharon is saying it's very important that you choose the right firm, the right organization that's going to work with your advocate. Right. So thank you
Correct.
for sharing that, Sharon. I think we have one more question. So Angelica is asking, do most insurance companies carry living benefit policies?
So, great question. There are more and more companies that are offering living benefits with their policies. However, a lot of them charge a lot of money for them to add as a rider. A rider is, just so we break down the terminology that we're using. A rider is an additional benefit that is attached a lot of times to insurance policies. So a lot of companies, however, charge according to the riders, not necessarily according to the coverage. And so you want to also, in looking and asking these questions, see if they come standard with any of your policies. And if they don't come standard, if living benefits don't come standard with your insurance policy, you're probably overpaying for it. So, and there's a lot of companies, just, call up your agents, ask, do we have living benefits? And then, get a copy of what those would be. And if you don't, getting a supplement policy with living benefits is always a good idea.
Right.
So
I absolutely
your agents
agree.
should definitely know if they have living benefits or not.
Right, right. So for finance family, we always talk about like creating wealth and building wealth, right? So Sharon is walking us through how to protect what we have worked so hard to create and build. So absolutely make sure that you are reaching out to your insurance company. I mean, as soon as you get off this live, check and
Absolutely.
see.
Now,
Yeah, right. Check and see if that policy is in place or if they have those resources, those tools, so you can protect what you have worked so hard to build thus far, right?
correct.
So thank you for walking us through what those living benefits were and why they are so important. So now we're going to get into what everybody's been waiting on, right? Growing that retirement income absolutely tax free. Now, before you jump into it, I know there are a lot of tools out there that we can use to do so, right? And I've talked about some of them for finance family, But Sharon's about to take it to a whole nother level. She's about to introduce us to something that most of us probably have not heard about. And I personally love a tool specifically that you can use to grow your retirement income tax free, and that's called an IUL. But I want Sharon to talk us through some of the tools that she offers through her agency. And then, if you don't mind touching on that IUL for us, Sharon, that would be great.
Absolutely can. I love geeking out about these things. So bear with me, you guys. So, remember what I said at the beginning. We want to work smarter and not harder. So we have to make our dollar go further. So when we're talking about protection, our greatest asset is our life. But someday we want to have the choice to not work. Okay. So one day we want to hang up our hat or turn it over to our kids or sell our business to somebody else that's going to carry the torch. Eventually there's going to be an end in sight. Now, and if you're an mompreneur like me or entrepreneur, you're probably like, I am going to work until I have one foot in the grave. Do not tell me that I will not be on my deathbed taking care of my clients. Okay. But I want to have the choice. And I think we should all have the choice of when that's going to be for us. And so, in utilizing the tools like the IUL and your Roth IRAs and all of these things that are great tools to retire tax free, then you can do that because these things that we're talking about, the living benefits, the IULs, the tax-free retirement, all of those are all encompassing. Okay. So by utilizing these strategies, you are making your money go further because not only you're protecting for now, but we're planning for the future. Okay. So I want to know, Samara, have you talked about the tax buckets in your in your
Yes, we
okay,
have.
yes.
So they are
Okay.
primed and ready for you,
So
Sharon.
yes. Okay. So the tax buckets, if you don't know, there's three different tax buckets. Okay. So, the tax me now, tax me later, tax me never. Okay. So we all have the tax me now. I mean, that's our that money coming in for income, our savings accounts. If we're in, any of the I'm not personally in like the stock market and crypto and all of those things. Those are all tax me now, right?
Right.
Okay. The tax me later, this is also a good thing to have, your 401ks, your TSPs, your simple IRAs, all of those. But what we're going to talk about today is our tax me nevers, okay? Because these are the ones that, you put in and they grow, and the amount that it grows to is not taxable to you. Okay. So making sure you also rewind here, making sure you have a little in each is also good. But we want to grow the one that is, the tax me never, because that is really important in your future because we don't know what Social Security is going to do. Okay, we don't know, if a 401k or a pension is going to be there. I mean, really, the pensions they're going away. Okay, your 401ks, those are in the stock market. So if the stock market's well, you're going up, and if it's not, you're going to lose what's in there. But with an indexed account, which is primarily what I use for my clients, what happens in an indexed account is when the market goes up, it goes up. And when the market goes down, it stays level. So anything that you have in there, it doesn't go down. So say 1 year the stock market goes up 11%. You're going to go up to 11%, but say next year it goes down 18%. You're going to keep how much is in there up to that point. Okay. So that the indexed account is indexed against the S&P 5000. So it's not S&P 500. Sorry, not 5,000, 500. So what you're actually doing is you're utilizing the S&P 500, but you're not putting any of your money in there. You're indexing it and growing it um, without having to make up for loss. That's another thing why you want to diversify by having tax-free. Is because we don't want to make up for any loss that potentially happens. You know, if you have 100,000 in a 401k, if the market tanks like it did in 2008, we lost 54% of the market that year. Okay, so say next year, you know, we go back up 54%. We're not going back up to that original 100,000. Okay, we're going up to like 75, right? Because we're growing to 50% of what is in there now. Okay, so that's why also we want to have tax free, because we don't want to make up for losses that come with our retirement dollars, being in 401ks and TSPs and all of those. One thing you also want to do is, when we're talking about retiring tax free, uh, you don't want to cash out any of your current retirement dollars. Okay. A lot of times, whenever you leave a job, you get this nice, pretty piece of paper and it says, "Thank you for your service. This is what you have in your retirement account." And we look at that number and we're like, "Ooh, I could use a new truck." I could finish that addition on the house. Um, and we cash it out. You're losing money on
Bad idea.
penalties, you're losing money on fees. So you need to roll it over into something that only you own, that isn't going to penalize you.
Right.
And there are accounts that are indexed, that you can access all of that money that you've put in there
Right.
tax free. And that's in an indexed account.
Right. I'm so glad that you walked us through this tool of indexing. And I want to just break it down for the use for everybody listening in and everybody watching to make sure that y'all got it. So when Sharon says that they are using this tool, this resource is using the S&P 500, which is basically the stock market in all of the companies that are traded on this platform, right? They're using that to set the bar. Okay, so if the S&P 500 is currently trading collectively, looking at all the stocks, so the stock market collectively is currently earning interest at 8%, right? This tool, Sharon, correct me if I'm wrong, is saying, okay, that's our base point. So if the stock market falls below that 8%, you're not going to drop. We're going to stay at where it has been collectively trending at over, I don't know if it's a year or 2 years, but it kind of keeps you at that base point. Is that correct, Sharon?
That is correct,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
So really, like you said, the S&P 500 is really the barometer
Right.
of our market and how
Right.
our economy is doing, right?
Right.
And so, by using that as an index
Right.
to
Right.
what we've earned so far, we're kind of, again, working smarter, not harder.
Right.
We're getting the gains of the market, but we're not losing.
Right.
Now, I will tell you what makes this not too good to be true. Okay, because a lot of people are going to hear this and they're going to be like, "Oh, that's a scam. This is too good to be true."
Right.
It's actually not, and the reason is that wherever, there's that ceiling, where we can't lose money. There's a floor. There's a ceiling.
Correct.
Okay, so they do, in indexed accounts, companies do cap the amount of growth that happens in these, but are the caps that I have seen since I've been in the industry, 10, 12%. I think a few years ago we had 15%. Um,
Wow.
so I'm telling you, those are a heck of a lot better than your 0.01% that a CD is going to earn you, which is
Absolutely.
great. I mean, that's still free money, but at the end of the day, you're not going to get where your goals are. Again, we have to work smarter, not
Not
harder.
harder. Right.
So
Yeah.
we got to make our dollars go further.
Yeah.
And, as we said before, I'm going to reiterate this again, what you said, Samara, we are living longer.
Right.
There is a very real possibility that we could outlive our money.
Right.
Okay. And so, what's really cool about indexed accounts is that whenever you access them tax free, they actually turn into an annuity that pays you annually every year for the rest of your life.
Right.
So there's no risk of outliving that money that's in your indexed account because they do pay for the rest of your life.
Right. Yep. And I definitely have heard of these tools before, but never really did a deep dive with anybody on like using those tools with other tools. And I want Five Finance Family understand that what Sharon is talking about are just it's just one tool of many tools that you should have in your
Yeah,
portfolio. Sharon even mentioned that, right? Diversification is the key. It's no different than when you're in the stock market. I know you have heard me say, right? Don't just put all your money in stocks. They're very volatile, but throw some bonds up in there, right? Throw other things that are going to mitigate the risk. And
right.
so that's what Sharon is talking about. This is a tool that's going to help mitigate the risk. So, Sharon, so now we know what the tool is. We know that the income can grow tax free. I have a question before we take a question from the audience. How are those dollars being contributed, right? So, in the past, when I've talked about growing retirement income that's tax free, it's because it's taxed now, right? So
Mhm.
when we talk about a Roth, right, 401k or a Roth IRA, you are making pre taxed contributions, okay, to
Correct.
this particular resource. And then this is allowing your money to grow tax free. So, walk us through how the contribution process looks like for an index fund or IUL.
Correct. So, how it works is it's basically a premium payment. So it is insurance that you're essentially, for lack of a better term, prepaying. It's not necessarily prepayment. What you're doing is using it as a growth tool. Okay, so you pay it, a premium payment every month until you retire. And you set that for you, whatever is comfortable in your budget, whatever is for your family, and whatever will meet your goal. Okay, because you always want to have a goal. You don't want to just throw money willy nilly into something and just hope, fingers crossed it's gonna do well, right? So what you want to do is have work with the planner, have a goal, and then work backwards with that planner and say, okay, this is what I need to contribute every month. I have people that are like, you know what, my budget's really tight, I can do maybe like $75 a month. And that's great. That's a starting place. That's something that gets you on base. If you have plans to retire at 50 and you're 37 right now, it's not going to hit your home run, but it's going to get you on base, and it's going to provide that supplement and that little extra something. um, and then but it is grown under that umbrella of life insurance. So it is one of the things that it's flexible, and it works really well for families that maybe have sometimes a little more month than money, because it's flexible. You can put more in when you get a tax refund. You can pull some out, maybe, or pull some away from, if it's around the holidays and you really want to have a good Christmas. So that's what's really great about these particular tools, is they are flexible for life, which I think is very important.
Oh, absolutely. 100% flexibility is important. And definitely when we talk about these tools, right? So Sharon told us what's happening. You're essentially paying your premium payment. So think about a life insurance policy that's just that. All it has is a death benefit, right? You're paying that premium anyway. So this is a tool that still gives you the support of having that death benefit, but also the ability to serve as a retirement account. Right, Sharon? Like that's what I'm gaining from you talking about these index funds or talking about like the IULs.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, perfect. So, y'all, okay, definitely. You want to connect with Sharon when it's all said and done. Okay, we had some questions come in while you were explaining that to us. So, Samara asked, is there an age requirement for index accounts?
Good question. So it comes down to qualification. Okay, so there's no age requirement. No, I had the youngest that I've ever done an indexed account for is 6 months. Um, so the oldest that I've done is 54. So it's insurance. So you go through the qualification
Right.
of it. Obviously, the sooner you qualify,
Okay.
the better,
Right.
because you also have to think about time as money,
Right.
right? And if you have a longer amount of time to meet your goals and a longer amount of time to put away for your future and to protect yourself, then you have to put a smaller amount of money in. If you start a little bit later, it's never too late. The
Right.
average American starts thinking about retirement at like 53. So, you know, it's never too late.
Right.
Just that if you have, these big goals where you want to have 3 yachts and a cabin in the woods and a beach house, at age 65, then you're going to be pretty aggressive with your planning, right? But it's all about planning, as we
Right.
have talked about, Samara. You
Right.
have to work your plan. You plan your work and work your plan.
I love it. I love it. Someone needs to put that in the comments, right? Plan your work, work your plan. Okay.
Absolutely.
But I love what you said about starting earlier, right? To make your money work harder for you. So Sharon said we have to work smarter, not harder. This brings me to the concept of compounding interest, right?
Yes.
Right, right. Because that is what is happening when you start younger. It gives that money more time to earn more money. So, walk us through that concept, Sharon, and how it relates to these tools that you are telling us about.
Correct. All right. So, um, in school, we probably learned a long time ago for me, but, compound interest is defined as the ability of an asset to generate earnings, and then those earnings generate their own earnings. Okay. So what we're doing is we're earning amount, and then that amount is going to earn its own amount and then earn its own amount, and so forth and so on. So it's just this never ending bubble effect. Okay, so having your money in a vehicle that is going to utilize compound interest is so important. But we also have to think about where our assets and our money is that actually is in compound interest working against us. Things like credit cards, things like loans, things like, where you're paying somebody else for the privilege of loaning you money. Okay, so I'm not talking about the things that we all have, like house and cars and things like that actually are appreciating assets, right? We're definitely talking about using our debts to our benefit. So really being careful about how the compound interest, works against us as well as working for us, utilizing tools that are working smarter, not harder. I think that's the mantra for today, Samara.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. I love it. I'm definitely going to share that in the comments. You got to work
Yeah,
smarter, not harder. And that's
yeah,
absolutely true. Like when I meet with small business owners who I help them, in their financial journey, we often talk about that. Like how much harder your money works for you when you start younger. Right?
yes,
It's the same
yes,
thing. Like I'm totally there with you. My
yeah,
children have accounts, right, that are doing just that, that are earning that compounding interest so that
yeah,
it will grow for them so that when they are 55 and maybe they're just thinking about retirement, guess what? They could retire
yeah,
if they wanted to.
exactly. Literally, exactly.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's so great because I look at my kids' accounts as well. And last year, my youngest, my 6-year-old, made more in his account than I did.
See?
And
See?
I'm just like, holy buckets, he doesn't even know. He has
Right.
no clue that
Oh,
mom is setting him up for,
right.
again, we have to start when they're young.
Right.
Not only that, but talk to them
Right.
about these concepts so that it doesn't have this stigma attached to it.
Right.
A lot of people, when it comes to finances and money, it's so stressful. It's
Right.
very, very personal, right?
Right.
We want to act like we have everything together and we have our poop in a pile.
Right.
And it's so important for our kids to not only be set up but also have these healthy conversations with us too, because really wealth is built generationally. And
Absolutely.
if we want to change the concept, and the things that we've been taught, we have to change the future.
Right.
We're not going to really change the past, right?
Right. Yep. I
So
absolutely agree. It's a mindset thing. And I think when I encounter most small business owners and we start talking about things like tax planning, it is a foreign notion to them because their parents never talked about it, right? No one in their circle is talking about
right.
things like that. And so it becomes a mindset shift that I
Mhm.
often have to work at first, right? Before we can even do a deep dive into, okay, now here's what we need to strategically do, right? I first have to
Absolutely.
get them to think differently. So I truly believe introducing your children to this at an early stage, giving them the leg up that most of us probably didn't have. I don't know about you, Sharon, but my mom and dad were not talking about compounding interest, retirement planning, tax planning. That was not discussed at the dinner table. Okay. So
Nope. Nope.
I was
All
always
I knew is my mom, once a week, Saturday, she would go and balance her checkbook, and that was the extent of our talk.
right,
Um, you know,
right.
I went to school not knowing what taxes were,
Wow.
so
Right,
there's just this, like, you're right, this mindset shift that has to happen.
right.
And it starts with us. It starts
Absolutely.
with us being willing to have those conversations and setting up these tools for our babies to have a better
Right.
head start than we did.
Exactly. And see, I didn't know that about you, but I take the same approach. Like my kids don't know either, but like it's there, right? And it's definitely a conversation that we will have as they, become more mature. I feel like with one of them in particular, I need to keep it away from him as long as possible.
Yes. Yes. I have my one's a spender, one's a saver, and it's
Right.
very apparent which is which.
Right, right. So you're helping him by not letting him know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Sharon, it has been a pleasure to say the least for you to walk us through
Oh,
all of this. So we have one more question before we
perfect.
wrap things up. So I want to make sure we get everybody addressed. So Angelica is asking, She is saying she supports hairstylists. She has a Charger Worth Academy. She's an income strategist, and she
Oh,
wants to know like what's the process of opening an index fund for the hairstylists that she supports.
sure, absolutely. So, it's an application, really an application process, and you can for if it's for a whole business, there's ways to work it to where it's available to business owners, and you can fund it as kind of if you have a partner, buy sell agreements, or if you have a business, they can have their own. And it kind of functions. I don't know if you guys have heard of like Aflac, the disability insurance, right? So it would be set up kind of like where they all each get their own plan and then they own it. Um, and then everybody, whenever they go on or move on or whatever, they would still have that. So it's not like they would lose
Okay.
that. So yeah.
Well, Angelica, we also have Sharon's website. So, Sharon, if you can just share with us what's going to be the best way for us to contact you if we do want to get these accounts set up personally. So, we have your website up here, but tell us like all of the ways that we can reach out to you.
Yeah, so the website, you can actually set up an appointment right there with me, or shoot me an email. It's Sharon W Mooney at gmail.com. And then also, you can see on my website, my phone number is on there as well, and it comes right to me. So I'm happy to text back and answer any questions, as well as, if you have any other specific questions about the certain products, there's a lot of videos on my website. Feel free to just kind of browse through those, and then hit me up with any specific questions. My time is always free. I don't charge ever for my time. I am legally obligated to never charge for my time. So anytime you want to sit down and have a conversation with me, I am always open to it, and welcome any and everybody. And it's never too late. I will tell you right now, you think it's too late, you think you're beyond help, you don't have, the money to do any of this. I've heard it all, and it's not true. It's false.
Right.
So
I
don't let fear inhibit you from working, towards those goals. If you have the dream, then you absolutely can achieve that dream with the proper planning. Again, we got to plan our work and work our plan, though.
Absolutely. All right. So, yeah, I totally agree. It's never too late. That's the same mantra that we say, we meet you no matter where you are on your financial journey. So, to just reiterate what Sharon says, like if you do want to learn more about these resources, these vehicles that Sharon has been talking about, please make sure you visit her website. Please make sure you book a consultation with Sharon so that she can get you on the right path to start planning, right? Work your plan your work. So definitely make sure that you connect with Sharon so that she could do that. And before you go, Sharon, I know that you had a freebie
I
that you
do.
were wanting to give away. So
Yes.
do you want to give it away to like one lucky person or?
Yes, I would like to. So I have a book, and it's actually called it's about living benefits, and so it's called Next Gen Protection. So it's the next generation of protection, and it's really cool. There's an app that makes the book interactive, and so it's a really neat tool to learn about this new kind of insurance. So it's called Next Gen Protection, and yeah, just we can choose one winner, and I will mail that out tomorrow.
All right. So, what I need everyone to do is in the comments, I want you to drop hashtag freebie And that way I can put your names in the little name selector and we will pick one winner. I will make sure to post that winner in the comments, and then Sharon will have that book mailed out to you. So we'll connect you too, right? We'll connect you and Sharon so that you can exchange information and we can have the book mailed out to you. All right. Sharon,
Absolutely.
it has been a pleasure. I'm so glad that you decided to donate your time and educate all
Oh,
of us, because I've
absolutely.
definitely learned a lot tonight as well. And so hopefully, Five Finance Family, you have learned a lot also. But we're going to connect. So I'll ask you just wait backstage while I say goodbye to everybody. But stay on the line. We'll connect soon. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, Five Family.
All right, everyone. So hopefully, right, you have heard that it is possible, okay, to retire with tax-free income. I'm ever so grateful for Sharon coming on and sharing how we can do that, right? And so I know that for a lot of us, money or our finances may not be something that we feel okay with sharing in a group setting. So definitely make sure that you are connecting with Sharon offline, so that she can help you no matter where you are in your specific situation. All right. And then make sure that you are also staying in contact with us as well, right? So we do have the podcast that this will be live on tomorrow. So we are on Audible, Amazon Music, Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts as well. So make sure that you're tuning in. You can listen to this in replay, take notes if you were not able to during the live. Also, make sure that you are following us on YouTube. So make sure that you are subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you liked the show tonight, make sure that you are hitting that like button. Make sure that you are also hitting that subscribe button so you get notifications whenever we are about to go live. Because again, we are sharing information with you that most people charge for, right? A lot of these resources that Sharon has talked to us about, this is what the wealthy are doing. This is what the 1% are doing. So if you like to continue to receive this information, make sure that you are staying in contact with us, all right? And you can also visit our website, www.fivefinance.com, if you want to have a consultation with myself. My consultations are 100% free. So you can go to the website, book an accounting, or you can book a tax consultation if you still need your taxes done. And I also offer strategy calls as well. So if you want to book a strategy call, you can do that as well to talk about a specific area that you would like to work on in your financial journey. So again, Five Finance Family, thank you so much for joining. Oh, before I go, I forgot. Next week's guest is the lovely Angelica Prather. Okay, Angelica Prather is the CEO and creator of Charge Your Worth Academy. Okay, this is her brainchild. This is where she specializes in helping beautypreneurs. I feel like she should trademark that. I don't know if she was the first to say it, but she was the first for me to hear. I heard it from her first, put it that way. But she helps beautypreneurs develop an income strategy around their business and elevating their business. So make sure that you are tuning in. She's going to show us how to turn our problem into a profit. All right. So make sure that you are tuning in next week when we have another beautiful young lady on, walking us through how to help us build wealth, right? She says she's so excited. I'm so excited too, Angelica, to help us build wealth, right, in our financial journey. So again, Five Finance Family, I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for joining. Don't worry, I will announce the winner in the comments and we'll reach out to you. We'll message you to let you know who is the lucky contestant. A big thanks to Sharon again for donating her time and her freebie. And again, make sure you connect with her. Or make sure you connect with us if you want more information about tax planning, definitely reach out to us, book us, visit the website so you can book a consultation. All right. So until next time, Five Finance family, I hope you all have a blessed and wonderful Tuesday evening. Talk to you soon.